Okay, real estate. It can be scary, right? Like buying a home feels impossible sometimes. Or maybe you're stuck renting, and it feels like you're just throwing money away. Well, stick with us today, Hiva, because we're going to crack the real estate code. Whether you're dreaming of buying a home or just want to make smarter money choices, I'm Terry, your real estate guide for today. Excited to break down these complex topics. I'm Sheri. I'll be asking the tough questions, keeping us grounded, Real estate can be a jungle sometimes. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss future deep dives, and leave a comment below. Let us know what topics you want to hear about. For even more real estate, head over to our Patreon, patreon.com/Levi-Alistair. We've got exclusive content and bonus episodes there. And if you're enjoying the show, you can buy us a coffee at buymecoffee.com/Jamie McAllister. Every cup helps fuel our real estate adventures. Quick reminder, we're not financial advisors. This is just for education. Always talk to a professional before making any financial decisions. Okay, let's dive in. Let's start with home buying. It can be intimidating, right?
It's not just about numbers. Buying a home, it's personal. Aspirations, stability, security, belonging even. But before we get caught up in feelings, let's talk about the foundation. Financial readiness.
Right, because you don't want to fall in love with a house you can't afford. That's like falling for someone who lives across the world. Heartbreak waiting to happen.
Exactly. You have to understand your finances before you even start looking at houses. It's not just the down payment, it's closing costs too. They add up. And then there's ongoing costs, property taxes, insurance, and of course, maintenance.
Yeah, maintenance. Those costs can really surprise you. I know someone who had to replace their whole roof just months after buying their dream home. What a nightmare. So how do you, get a handle on those costs? Make sure you're not biting off more than you can chew.
Debt to income ratio, your DTI. Lenders use it to see if you can pay back a loan. It compares your monthly debt to your income. You want a DTI of 43% or lower. That's generally good for getting a mortgage and avoiding financial stress.
Okay, so DTI is important. What about credit scores? They're a big deal, right? But why?
Your credit score is like a financial resume. It shows lenders how you handle credit, helps them predict if you'll pay back the loan on time. A higher score, you're a good borrower. Lower interest rates, saves you money in the long run. Could be tens of thousands over the life of your mortgage, but a lower score. Higher interest rates, maybe even loan denials.
So good credit score equals better loan terms and a smoother home buying experience. What if someone's credit score isn't great? Can you fix that quickly?
Absolutely. First, check your credit report. Look for any errors. Dispute them right away if you find any. Then pay down debt. Especially credit card balances, those really matter. Even little things help, like automatic bill payments so you don't get late fees.
So improving your credit score, it's like training for a marathon. Takes dedication, consistency, but those better loan terms, they're your victory.
Yeah. And speaking of things that can trip you up, hitting costs, they catch a lot of home buyers off guard.
Yeah, it's not just the down payment and mortgage. There's all these other fees hiding, waiting to ambush you.
Right, they add up fast. Turn your budget into an obstacle course. Home inspections, for one. Those can uncover problems, might need repairs, or you might have to renegotiate with the seller. Then there's appraisal fees to determine the property's value, title insurance in case there are title defects, and sometimes even attorney fees, depending where you live.
Like a board game where you keep landing on spaces that make you pay. How do you avoid that? How do you make sure you have enough money for those hidden costs?
Plan ahead. Budget realistically. Research closing costs in your area. Include them in your budget. Is 3–5% of the purchase price. But talk to your lender and your real estate agent. They can give you a more precise estimate.
Like having an emergency stash of cash for those unexpected real estate expenses.
And don't forget about unexpected repairs. After you move in, things come up.
Oh yeah, those repairs, always at the worst time. Like when you just spent all your money on new furniture.
Right. Leaky faucet, furnace acting up, squeaky floorboard. These things happen. And they can cost a lot if you're not ready.
So you need an emergency fund for those real estate emergencies.
Exactly. Put aside 1–3% of your home's value each year for repairs and maintenance. Might seem like a lot, but it's better to be safe than sorry.
Okay, so we've got the money stuff down. Now the big decision, the mortgage. Exciting and scary at the same time. There's so many types. Fixed rate, adjustable rate, FHA loans, VA loans. How do you choose?
It can seem confusing, yeah. But if you understand the different types and choose the one that fits your goals and risk tolerance, it's not so bad.
Okay, let's start with the basics. What's the difference between a fixed rate and an adjustable rate mortgage?
A fixed rate mortgage is predictable. The interest rate stays the same. For the whole loan, you know exactly what your monthly payment will be for the next 15 or 30 years. Makes budgeting easy.
That sounds good for people who like stability, who don't want to worry about interest rates changing. What about people who are okay with a bit of risk, who might want to take advantage of lower starting rates?
Adjustable rate mortgages, or ARMs. They usually start lower than fixed rate mortgages, but the rate can change over time based on the market, so your payments could go up or down. Makes budgeting a bit harder.
So ARMs are more of a gamble, lower costs at first, but the rate could go up later. Sounds like they're good for people who are comfortable with market changes and confident they can handle payment changes.
Exactly. And there are different types of ARMs too. 51 ARMs, 71 ARMs. They tell you how often the rate can change after the initial fixed rate period. It's important to understand those differences and choose what's right for you.
So you really need to understand the different mortgage types to make the right decision. What if you don't qualify for a regular mortgage? Any other options?
There are government-backed loans. FHA loans and VA loans, they have easier requirements. FHA loans are insured by the Federal Housing Administration, and VA loans are guaranteed by the Department of Veterans Affairs. These loans usually need smaller down payments, and they're more flexible about credit scores.
So FHA and VA loans are great for first-time buyers and veterans or people with lower credit scores. Gives them a chance to own a home. Okay, so we talked about money, credit scores, mortgages. One more important thing before we wrap up part one: finding a real estate agent.
A good real estate agent is so important. They can guide you through the market, help you find properties that fit your budget, and they can help with offers, counteroffers, negotiations, all that paperwork you need to close a deal.
Like a real estate superhero, saving you from the stress. But how do you find a good one? There's so many out there.
Look for experience, someone who knows the local market well and has a good track record. But it's also about personal connection. Find someone who listens to you, understands your concerns, and communicates well.
Like finding a real estate soulmate, someone who gets you and knows how to help.
Exactly. Interview a few agents before you choose one. Ask about their experience, their negotiation style, how they communicate, how they handle challenges.
You want someone who will fight for you and guide you through the process with expertise and empathy. That's it for part one of our real estate deep dive. We covered the basics of finances, mortgages, and finding a great real estate agent.
Back for more deep dive. And we're tackling the big question: rent or own?
Yeah, it's the real estate version of that famous line. To be or not to be, that is. But we're here to help you figure it out. Make a decision that works for you.
Because there's a lot of pressure to buy, right? Build equity, achieve the American dream, all that. But is owning always the best choice? Or can renting be smart?
That is the question, and there's no single right answer. Renting and owning, they both have pros and cons. It depends on your situation, your finances, lifestyle, how much risk you're comfortable with, and your goals, of course.
So let's break it down. Starting with owning a home, what are the benefits? One big one is building equity. Every mortgage payment you make, you're paying down the principal, increasing your ownership in the property. And if the value of your home goes up, you've got a valuable asset for retirement, your kids' education, whatever you need.
Like watching your money grow. But even better than houseplants.
Yes.
But it's not just about the money, right? Owning a home, it feels stable, permanent, like putting down roots.
Definitely. Owning gives you more control over your space. I mean, you can paint the walls whatever color you want, renovate the kitchen, plant a garden, hang that weird chandelier you love. It's yours. You can express yourself.
It's like a blank canvas for your life.
Yeah.
But of course, there's always another side. Great power, great responsibility, right? Owning a home comes with downsides too.
That's true. It's a lot of responsibility. Financial, handy, practical. Maintenance is a big one. When you own a home, well, you have to fix everything yourself. Leaky roof, broken appliance, the furnace goes out. Even squirrels in the attic. That happened to me once.
You're the captain of the ship. But instead of sailing, you're fixing things.
Pretty much. And those repairs get expensive, especially if it's an older house or something unexpected happens.
So you need to be prepared. Have some money set aside for those surprises.
Absolutely.
Okay, so owning has its perks. Building equity, making it your own.
Right.
But also lots of responsibility and potential costs. Now, let's talk about renting. What are the good things about renting?
Flexibility. When you rent, you're not tied down. Need to move for work? Want to try a new neighborhood? Just wait till your lease is up and you're free.
Like a nomad, but without the caravan.
You got it. That flexibility is great for people who are still figuring things out or who like to move around.
It's like trying different ice cream flavors, before you pick your favorite.
And renting usually has lower upfront costs. No big down payment. You don't pay for major repairs or property taxes.
So you have more money for other things. Investing, paying off debt, traveling. Renting can be good for your finances, especially if you're still saving up. But what about the downsides of renting? Why do people still want to own?
Well, when you rent, you're not building equity. All that rent money goes to your landlord. You're not building any ownership.
It feels like you're throwing money away, especially when you see other people building wealth through owning. But is that always true?
Not necessarily. You're right, renting doesn't build equity in a property, but it can be a good financial strategy. Think of it as saving money in the short term while you focus on other goals.
So like investing in the stock market instead of a down payment, still building wealth, just in a different way.
Exactly. Plus, you don't have to deal with major repairs as a renter. Something breaks. Call the landlord.
It's like having a built-in handyman. But what about control over your space? Don't you have less control when you rent?
It's true, you can't just knock down walls or renovate, not without your landlord's okay. But you can still personalize a rental, make it feel like your own.
You just have to be creative.
A lot of landlords are cool with cosmetic changes, painting, hanging pictures, and even if you can't change the structure, you can still do a lot with furniture and decorations.
Like you're designing the set for your life. So we've seen both sides now, renting and owning, each with its own good and bad points. How do you decide what's right for you?
Think about your own situation, finances, lifestyle, goals. There's no one right answer, only what's right for you.
It's like choosing between a mountain hike and a beach walk. Both are great, but it depends what you're looking for.
Perfect analogy. And sometimes it's not an easy decision. Weigh the pros and cons, crunch some numbers, maybe even talk to a financial advisor if you need help.
Do your research, think it through, and make a choice that feels good to you. Now, for those of you leaning towards owning, or maybe you already own and are thinking about renting out a property, let's talk property management.
It's super important. Whether you want to be a landlord or not, effective property management protects your investment and helps you get the most out of it.
Like you're conducting an orchestra, making sure all the parts work together.
I like that. And one of the most important parts is tenant screening. You want good tenants, people who'll take care of your property, and pay their rent on time. That's key for a smooth experience.
Like casting a play. You want the right actors to make it a success.
Exactly. And how do you find those great tenants? Background checks. Verify their employment. Talk to their previous landlords. Run a credit check to see how they handle money.
You're like a detective.
Pretty much. And you want to set clear expectations from the beginning. With a detailed lease agreement, it covers everything. Rent payments, pets, who's responsible for what repairs.
The constitution for your rental property. Keeps everyone on the same page.
You got it. A good lease agreement protects both you and your tenants. Prevents problems down the line.
So screening tenants and having a solid lease agreement, well, those are the basics of good property management. But what about the day-to-day stuff? How do you keep things running smoothly?
Be proactive. Just like regular checkups keep you healthy. Routine maintenance keeps your property in good shape. Prevents small problems from becoming big, expensive ones.
It's like giving your property a spa day.
You could say that. Schedule regular inspections, stay on top of basic maintenance, like HVAC servicing, cleaning the gutters, taking care of the yard, and if something breaks, fix it right away.
Don't wait for things to get out of control. But being a landlord, it takes a lot of time and energy, right?
It can, especially if you're busy or have multiple properties. That's where property managers come in.
They're like real estate superheroes.
They take care of everything for you. Talking to tenants, collecting rent, handling repairs.
Like a personal assistant for your property.
Yeah.
Gives you time to focus on other things.
But you have to choose a good one.
How do you do that?
Ask other property owners for recommendations or talk to real estate professionals. Look for someone with experience, good communication skills, and fair fees.
You need someone you can trust.
Someone who understands your goals and wants you to succeed. A good property manager can make all the difference. Oh, and one more thing. Keep good records.
An organized landlord is a happy landlord.
That's for sure. Keep track of everything. Rent payments, security deposits, maintenance costs, property taxes.
Like a financial diary for your property.
Exactly. You need these records for taxes. And if there are any disputes, you'll have proof.
It protects you and your investment. We're back for the final part of our real estate deep dive. Time to answer your questions and give you the tools to make smart decisions.
We've covered a lot. Buying a home, renting versus owning, property management. But you probably still have questions, right?
Absolutely. What are some of the things people struggle with the most?
One big one is knowing where to start. When you're looking for a home, I mean. The market can be crazy. So many listings, so many open houses.
It's overwhelming, like trying to find a needle in a haystack.
That's a good way to put it.
So how do you even begin?
First, figure out what's most important to you. Your must-haves versus your nice-to-haves. What can you absolutely not live without? A certain number of bedrooms, a big backyard, good schools nearby. Once you know what you need, you can start narrowing down your search.
Like a real estate wish list, but focused on the things that really matter. What about online listings? How do you know which ones are real? Those pictures can be deceiving.
That's where a good real estate agent is essential. They can see past the pretty pictures and give you a realistic view of the property. Plus, they can help you schedule showings, take you to open houses, and they know the neighborhood, the property's history, things like that.
Like having a real estate expert on your side. Okay, so you found some properties you like. Now you have to make an offer. That can be scary, especially if there's competition. How do you make an offer that stands out without spending more than you can afford?
It's a balancing act. You need strategy, market knowledge, and a bit of gut feeling. Do your research, look at similar properties in the area, see what they sold for. That gives you an idea of what's reasonable.
Like a game of poker.
You could say that.
Your agent can help you craft an offer that's competitive, but still within your budget. Sometimes you might need to offer a bit more than the asking price, or agree to a faster closing. But don't get caught up in a bidding war and overspend.
Stay cool, stick to your budget. Now, for those of you thinking about renting, how do you find a decent place? It's like searching for a unicorn sometimes.
I know what you mean. It
Like-
takes time and effort, and some luck, for sure. But you can increase your chances of finding that perfect rental. Start by knowing exactly what you want: location, size, amenities, price range.
Another wish list.
Exactly. Then start looking online. There are lots of websites and apps for rentals, but be careful. Don't trust everything you see.
Like those pictures can be totally misleading.
Definitely. Read the descriptions, look at reviews from other tenants, and try to see the place in person before you sign anything.
You got to do your detective work. What about those great rentals that aren't listed online?
Oh yeah, those off-market gems. Talk to people you know. Friends, family, coworkers, let them know you're looking. Go to community events, post in local Facebook groups. You never know who might have a lead.
The power of networking. So you found a place that looks promising online. What should you look for when you see it in person?
Pay attention to the condition of the property. Any signs of damage, mold, pests? Do the appliances work? What's the water pressure like? Those little things can be signs of bigger problems.
Like checking a used car for red flags.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to ask the landlord questions about repairs, maintenance, how they communicate. A good landlord makes a huge difference.
You want someone responsive and responsible. Trust your gut feeling. If something seems off, it probably is. So there you have it, our complete real estate deep dive.
We covered a lot of ground.
From buying a home to renting to managing property.
We hope you feel more confident about making decisions.
Remember, knowledge is power.
The more you learn about real estate, the better prepared you'll be.
So keep learning, stay curious.
And don't be afraid to ask for help.
Find a good team of professionals, agents, lenders, inspectors, lawyers,
People you trust to guide you.
and most importantly, listen to your gut. If something doesn't feel right, walk away. There will be other opportunities.
Real estate is a journey, not a race. Take your time, do your research, make choices that work for you.
That's it for the deep dive.
Thanks for joining us.
Keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.